Action. All right. Most practitioners are great at their craft and terrible at getting clients. Strategy Cafe exists to fix that. Welcome to episode 11. I'm Timothy, and Chris is on the other side of the pond visiting family. We are the co founders of the Pykthos Mastermind, a coaching and community program that includes the software and done for you assets you need to actually run your business. But these calls are not a pitch. We run Strategy Cafe to deliver value first. And if you want to learn more about the mastermind after the session, head to pykthos.com/mastermind. Every other Friday, we break down these serious business builders actually do. They build pipelines, automate follow up, make revenue predictable. And if you're on the replay, find us live at pykthos.com/cafe. And we send out summary notes after every session so you won't miss a thing. This is episode 11. Let's go. And so thank you so much for everyone here. If you're watching the recording, thank you for watching this. Make sure that you like, subscribe, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. Got all the all the professional stuff out of the way. Let's have a little fun here. So I've got a couple of things on my list in terms of strategy that I would love to talk about. And I'm also going to open this up to the floor for anybody who has a question about marketing, business, strategy, how to implement this stuff in your own business. So first, let's talk shop. One of the things that we have been discussing inside the Pykthos Mastermind with, like I had mentioned during the onboarding part of this conversation in before I hit record, I invited a bunch of the Pykthos Mastermind members here today so that in the lieu of Chris being gone, that we would be able to have a discussion around some of the stuff that they're implementing. Well, every Wednesday we have a mastermind group coaching call. It's where we all get together and we talk higher level strategy. Usually, if you can imagine, these strategy cafe calls are like chapter one, chapter two. That way we can make them accessible to anybody, no matter where they are in their business. Wednesday calls for the mastermind are like chapter three, chapter five, and beyond. And one of the things that we discussed this last mastermind call, excuse me, are something that I think is going to be beneficial to everybody. How many of you, just show of hands, are into AI at all? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. We're all using AI. I think it's proliferated our lives enough that it is here. It's here to stay, and we're all using it in some way, shape, or form. The way, though, that we use it can vary depending on how you've been taught to use it. For those of you who maybe aren't as steadfast in keeping up with technology, it's AI has changed, especially from when it first came out in like 2022, all the way up to now. It's a completely different animal, different product. So in order to get the best out of it that you can, we recommend in the mastermind ensuring that when you're providing whatever AI tool, whether it's Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, any of them, whenever you're using the tool, you need to make sure that it has enough information about you to accurately be able to provide you with amazing output that you can then use. So, one of the things that people used to do back in the day, and I'm sure many of you have probably experienced this, you usually type something like, act as though you're a marketing specialist and you help me with XYZ, right? Well, that's okay. But a much better way to do it is actually something called a riff. And this is something that Chris got from a buddy of his named Mercer. We're all part of the same mastermind. And That's separate from the Pykthos mastermind. It's a different one that we pay our own money to make sure that we're current in our own marketing stuff. And then we provide that same value to you guys. We bring home the goods and provide it. So a riff, if you can imagine this, instead of typing, I'm this kind of person and I'm a hypnotist and that's about as far as you go, a riff is using the microphone tool that's actually on the device. Usually in whatever app you're in, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude, there's a microphone. The more that you give the AI, the more context it has to help you. The less you give it, the less it's going to be able to be beneficial. It might look good, but it's not going to be the same as if it had full context. So there's actually 6 questions that we think in the mastermind Every person who's using AI should be feeding their AI, whether it's system instructions, or if you're using Claude Cowork, it would be part of your Claude.md, or if you're just using like ChatGPT and you have a custom chat or a Gemini gem or whatever it is. We think that there are 6 questions that are absolutely pivotal for you to start getting the AI tool to give you amazing output. And these aren't meant to be like single sentence. These are meant to be riffs. So a riff could be you hit the microphone button and you just talk. And it could be a couple minutes worth of conversation. It could be minutes and minutes and minutes. I mean, 20, 30 minutes sometimes because you're giving it whole context. So holistically, it knows everything. So let's talk about those questions. The first is what your business does. And I don't just mean like I'm a hypnotist. Give it full context. What specifically do you offer in terms of the service? Like, is it, very plain, I'm just a hypnotist that helps with anxiety? Or do you have a niche and you talk very specifically? Like, let's say that you help lawyers stop smoking. You need to make sure that you tell it, this is specifically who I work with. That way it knows when it's helping write emails or whatnot, who it's talking to, because it's not going to be talking to you when it's writing emails. It's going to be talking to your audience. So, what your business does. The second one is who it's for. This is where you can get more specific, like the type of person or the type of business that you serve. Because sometimes it might be one-to-one sessions. Sometimes you might offer business to business services. Like I know we've had several people in the mastermind who've reached out to wellness centers and other things like that to provide their, services. And that would be business to business, right? You wouldn't talk the same way to that business as you would an individual. So the third one is what is the main outcome you deliver? And this is not the method or the transformation. This is the actual result that you want your clients to have. So if you can talk in terms of these are the emotions that I want my clients to feel, this is the things that they're going to do, like the new behaviors, the new actions. So if you're helping people stop smoking, obviously the things you'd want for your client is for them to become a non-smoker and to not, smoke anymore. Those are obvious, right? So what's the main outcome you deliver? Now, the fourth one I think is really important because it's going to help the AI model actually determine when it's producing content what your calls to action will be. Meaning that if it's writing an email, it'll know the call to action is either going to say something like, oh, here's my price point and it's for individual or for groups. So the fourth question is, what is your price point and business model? So, what is the cost and how do clients access it? Meaning, are you doing one-on-one sessions? Is it group? Do you offer a monthly subscription? Is it a one-time payment? Are they hourly? Or are they by the session and you have yeah, I book my sessions for 2 hours, but they could go however long. Give the AI this information, right? So the last two are pretty easy. Are there any geographic or marketing limits? Meaning, are you just local and you only want to talk to people in your local area? And if that is the case, what is the local area? Well, are you in New Brunswick? Or are you in Toronto, Ontario? Or are you in upstate New York? It needs this information. So, geographic marketing scopes. Besides local, are you virtual? Do you only work online? Do you also do in person? Do you have a building or a facility that people would go to? What's the address? You can give that information and AI can then bake that into blog posts, emails, that kind of stuff. And now the last one, and this one is the most important. Is there anything else that makes your business or your client work distinct? So this is where you can start talking about your specializations. What's your unique approach when working with clients? What are you certified in? What are the niche details? So I mentioned like helping lawyers stop smoking. Are these high-end lawyers that work in a skyscraper, like they're downtown, or are these lawyers that are a rural area and they just help mom and pop shops? This context is super important because then with all of that, with answering those 6 questions, the AI is able to better determine what the output that it thinks reasonably will help you to produce whatever result you want. That's why the third question, the main outcome you deliver, is so important. because that's going to steer the direction of the AI, knowing that the outcome is for your client, not for you. So, having all of that said, you guys got that? We'll make sure that we put those questions in the notes for afterwards for the recording. So that's what we really think is that will absolutely help you guys when it comes to AI. So I would love to talk with some of you now about this specific topic. You could, if you're one of my mastermind people, cool. You can speak about that end of things. If you're brand new and you have questions, we would love to hear from you as well. I do have another topic that I would love to talk about, but I'll save it for a little bit, um, for a little bit here. So let's dive in. Who has any questions, thoughts, comments about the little thing that we just discussed? Yes, Mike.
If I could just quickly comment, I think when I got into all this, I answered all the questions that you asked, but I didn't do it the way you said. I use Claude Code, so everything is physically on the hard drive
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I gave it every piece of information about me that I could find. I gave it all the content out of my LinkedIn profile. I gave it every blog post I've ever written. I gave it everything about me. And it
That's
went
awesome.
through and found all the information that you just called out in your six questions without me answering the six questions.
Yeah. 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 That's awesome. And so what Mike's doing is basically meta prompting. He's having the AI answer the questions rather than him doing it. And that's perfectly fine. So you can riff, you can dictate, or you could say, go out and answer these questions for me. Search all my websites. Here's all of my social stuff. Like Mike said, here's all my blog posts. That's a great way for it to also learn your tone and your voice. So that's, yeah, great advice. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Mike. Anyone else? No. All right. Okay. So I do see that we have a question here that I want to answer. Jonas, it says, I have a question regarding ads. It seems that my marketing is cheaper if I run ads on Meta and Google simultaneously. Is there a synergy effect that you know of? Ad spend is 10 per day in both respectively. You get more clients than spending $30 in just one of them. Yes, actually. So what's super interesting about this, Qasim Islam, he used to run a company called Solutions 8, and it was like one of the biggest digital marketing companies out there besides like Ryan Dice and stuff when it comes to paid media. And that's what we're talking about is paid ads. And he happens to be one of the co-founders of the mastermind Chris and I attend typically for ish times a year in person. And then every Wednesday, we always have a call. And so Qasim actually spoke about this specific thing in great detail, where if you were to look at each of the platforms individually, Google and Facebook, it would look like they're attempting to take credit for everything that's happening. But as soon as you would shut one down, the other one would also start to collapse. And so, what he found using AI driven data and everything is that to what you had said, Jonas, is that there literally is a synergy happening behind the scenes that most of us are unaware of. And what it typically is how the campaigns are being ran. So Google usually is about what's called brand awareness. And so people would run Google ads either directly to whatever paid offer it is, meaning you have an ad that goes right to the sales page, or it would just be brand awareness where you would have the ads run, but it's all just to put your brand name in front of people if they were to search terms that would fit within that. So, for example, if somebody were to search for hypnosis, for beginners, Mike Mandel Hypnosis would pop up under the sponsored tab because we obviously have hypnosis as one of our keywords in our Google paid ads. And also, we want to make sure that when people search for anything hypnosis related, our company pops up in the top search fields, right? What we also found is that when people are running meta ads, those are usually the ones that are typically related to lead magnets. And what a lead magnet is, for anybody who's maybe brand new and not sure, a lead magnet would be that thing that people ask you to give your email in exchange for that thing. So it could be like a checklist, a hypnosis audio, could be a PDF, a cheat sheet, something like that. And then you give them your email address, and they they send you the thing to your email address, right? That is a lead magnet. You're exchanging value for the lead, which is the email, the name, the contact in your database. Oftentimes, people will use lead magnets on Meta, because it's a wider audience. Usually the ads are very socially driven. You get the engagement, you get comments on it, so people can actually talk about what the lead magnet has in the ad itself. Whereas on Google, it's just like, well, here's my free thing, but it's typically not like an image or it's just text. So there absolutely is a synergy. I cannot say though, without without actually having a look at your things directly, and with also not having an understanding of how your business operates. I don't know whether or not scaling both of them or only one of them would affect the other. Only you would. What I would suggest though is setting up some type of split test. And what a split test is not it's not something that everyone needs to do. But if you're looking at the lead magnets that you offer, if you're looking at maybe the landing pages you send people to, that kind of information will be important. So if you're running split tests, you just want to make sure that you're actually split testing things. It looks like everybody froze again, and oh my gosh, hoping that everybody comes back.
I can still hear you.
Okay, yeah. Good, good, good. All right. Yeah. Well, that's good. All right. So people can still hear me. Wonderful. Everyone's video is frozen. So, okay, good. You can still see and hear me. Perfect. That's interesting. So, outside from all of that, got Jonas's question. Does anybody else have any thoughts, comments about paid? Does anybody have anything that they would want to bring up when it comes to paid advertising or media?
Can you just point us at general resources to get started? I've tried ads and had zero success, and he's gone. Question for anybody else then. Do you have any tips for where to get started on paid ads? Because I've thrown a bunch of money at Google Ads and got no results out of it.
Um, I'll jump. Can you hear me? Yeah. I
Yes.
I'm in the same boat where I had no clue about ads, where to go, where to start. And then Timothy, the guys, got me going on Laurel Portier's work. She's like, you can join up with her whole ad program. It's like $7 a month, and she gives you almost everything. She tries to get you into her other Zoom calls that are like 200 a month, but the $7 a month, I'm using it now. I'm just into like module two. It's
Mm,
gold.
yeah.
It's
Could you
helping me
put that in the chat?
understand the whole process. What do I do? And she's driving like low budget, like $5 a day is where she kind of comes with it. And I'm
Mhm.
learning now in module two about video ads and how to work with those. So maybe for you, that's a good place to jump in. Just go with it, get into her training and start implement. It's just stuff I'm just amazed on utilizing and finally understanding what the game is. So maybe if that helps you.
Yeah. There you go.
That would be great
Stop.
if you could drop it in the chat.
Yep.
Yes, thank
I
you.
just put it in the chat. So that's her. It's adcoachingfor7.com. And that's Laurel Portier. She's actually part of the same mastermind Chris and I attend. And so we're utilizing Laurel's system as well. It really, really good stuff. What's interesting is the way that she is positioning the ads is less about make the ad and then sell. And really it's about setting up yourself in terms of what she calls the content Bible and having a solid ICA or your ideal client avatar. If you have those two things, the way that she describes the content Bible is you should be able to sit down and with the content Bible in front of you, if you were on a sales call, you should be able to answer anything that the person describes on that sales call with the content Bible. Like if someone says, "Well, what can I expect in the next 7 days?" The content Bible should have that information. And that is going to be what actually drives the copy, the messaging, all of that when it comes to building the ads. So yeah, we highly recommend Laurel stuff. It's really, really cool, really good. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Jonathan. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. Anything else regarding paid media, paid ads? No. Okay. Yeah, not a problem. All right. So I got another topic here that I would love to talk with you guys about, and it's actually one that I think, regardless of whatever system you're using, it doesn't matter if you're using the Pykthos platform, it doesn't matter if you're using Kajabi, it doesn't matter like anything like that. This is going to be what we actually think is like the standard. Um, it's the standard framework that I think everyone in our industry typically uses. And what we've done is inside the Pykthos Mastermind, we've actually created a something that we call a simple machine, and it is pre-built. These are all the assets that you would actually need to install this machine right into your account when you first join. And what the simple machine is if you can think of the way that the customer typically would find you and then in some way, shape, or form down the road buy from you, that journey is handled inside the simple machine. So usually we talk about something called the customer value journey. And what the customer value journey is, it's a marketing map. These have been around forever, and they're just a way of knowing how strangers become buyers, how, leads turn into clients. And usually there are different stages that your client or customer goes through before they even ever buy. We've all heard of it's called like the 4-7-11 rule, meaning you have to like talk with them in four different locations over 11 different hours or something like that, over seven different media, like types of media. And that's usually the general rule. Yeah, it's like 11 touch points. Yeah, that's usually the general rule. And what the customer value journey does is actually walk you through all those steps. So the very first one is awareness, right? And awareness is just how in the world does this person even know that you exist? The metaphor that we often use is one that we got from Ryan Dice from Digital Marketer. And it's if you can imagine that you're at the coffee shop, right? Maybe you're a single individual, you're at a coffee shop, and you happen to see somebody on the other side of the shop, and you just glance at them and you go, oh, wow, that person's attractive. That is awareness. The next step in the customer value journey from awareness is engagement. And engagement is just you walking over to that person and introducing yourself. So in the internet world, awareness would be like somebody hears about you, word of mouth from a friend, or somebody happens to scroll and they see your social media post and they go, oh, well, I didn't know this person existed. The engagement part of that awareness is them liking, them commenting, them interacting or engaging some way, shape, or form with you. So on Facebook, they're scrolling, see your thing. Now you go, all right, cool, boom. They interact with you in some way, shape, or form. They engage with your social post. From there, you have to move on to from awareness engagement to subscription. And the subscribe part of this is usually the exchange of email for something. We usually think of this in terms of like a lead magnet. Now, there are very specific criteria that qualify a lead magnet versus something else. So a lead magnet should be like easily digestible. We're talking like in 10 minutes or less, the person should be able to go through whatever it is. So for everybody that has a like a hypnosis audio, we often think that we want to over deliver and we're going to give, these strangers this 45 to an hour long hypnosis audio. And the amount of people who are willing to actually digest that versus the amount of people who just download and then never consume whatever it is you gave them starts to increase the more that you go beyond a 10-minute marker. So, one of the things that Laurel talks about is that without consumption, there is no conversion. So, even if somebody downloads your thing, that doesn't mean that they've actually consumed it. That would be the exact same as going out and buying a book and putting it on your shelf and never reading it. That's what happens when people attempt to over deliver with their lead magnets. So think of short things, checklists that are maybe a single page, a step-by-step process, maybe a cheat sheet that's like a page or two that just outlines a framework that you operate out of. If it's hypnosis audios, can you do something in 5 to 10 minutes? Like a quick 5 minute mental reset or a, stress and anxiety, stabilizer or something like that. Like again, we're thinking like 10 minutes or less. So that's subscription, meaning that in some way, shape, or form, they've given you their email address and you've exchanged it for the lead magnet, that easily digestible thing. So the next step to that is we have to convert them. Now, a conversion qualifier is anything that is a time related or low dollar amount. So up until this point, these four touch points that we've had, awareness, engagement, subscription, now conversion, this fourth touch point is either the first time somebody's engaging with your content in a long term, so meaning like an hour. Think of like time related, like an hour, discovery calls, maybe, like quick chats, that kind of stuff. Or it's a low dollar amount. So this is something that's like $20 or less. Think of like, for example, like we were just talking about Laurel Portier's stuff in her $7 ads. That's her tripwire. That is her conversion. It's a low dollar amount, and she has now psychologically changed the customer from a potential customer into a buyer. And that means that the marketing psychology for that person is going to be different. The mindset of somebody willing to pay money for something is different than somebody who only wants something for free. So that's something, that's an important consideration. So from conversion, then we now move into the excite phase. Now, in the excitement phase, typically what happens on the conversion, like discovery call, etc., you want to give the client an aha moment. You want them to go, "Oh my gosh, that's what I've been looking for this whole time." Or, for many of you guys on your discovery calls, maybe you do like a little mini session and then they have that aha moment of that's what hypnosis is like and you go, "Yeah." Or maybe you do a cool like NLP swish pattern or something like that and they go, "Whoa, that blew my mind. Do you mean this stuff's real?" That's the aha moment that we're wanting. Once the aha moment happens, typically that's when we can move them into something called the Ascension phase, and that's your core offer. That's why it's really important for you as the customer or as, the person giving the offer, the hypnotist, coach, whatever. It's important for you to know what it is you're selling in the first place. The worst thing that I think anybody could experience is going through an entire discovery call, the client saying, "You know what, I'm ready. Let's go. I'm in." And they say, "How much is the price? What is it going to be?" And then you, as the hypnotist, go, "Oh, I don't know, maybe like, I mean, $100. I don't know." And then like, we'll just see how things go, right? How many of you would ever book with that person, right? You have to make sure you're confident and congruent in what it is that you're offering. So that's why those six questions at the very beginning are really important. If you nail those down, you should be easily be able to talk about what it is you offer, who you're helping, all of that kind of stuff, right? So all of this to say, we went through those six or seven touch points from awareness all the way up to ascension. So we have awareness, engagement, subscription, conversion. Then from conversion, we have excitement and ascension. Now, there are two other touch points, and they're ones that I think in our industry are utilized a lot. And that is we have, of course, promotion and advocate. And usually those are the people that are word of mouth referrals. These are the ones that bring you business, talk about your business because they got great results from you. These are the people that are willing to give you testimonials. They're the ones that are willing to, tell you how amazing things were publicly and they're not afraid. Having the ability to take a customer through all those steps means when they're ready to start talking about your business, they bring you more customers and you spin. That's how the flywheel continues to spin. So the whole reason why I brought all this up is because I want to talk about something called the simple machine. And these steps that I just discussed are pre-built in the simple machine, meaning that once you have everything built out, you should be able to naturally, without much human intervention, be able to take a customer through that entire journey. So typically that looks something like you've got some type of booking or like, like it could be Calendly, it could be something that's in the Pykthos platform. You have things already set up so that when someone's ready to book with you, it's automated, meaning that you have an email sequence that goes out to remind them of the call. You also have one that confirms the call, that kind of stuff, right? You also want to make sure that you have landing pages of some kind And a landing page is usually part of a funnel. So the difference between a website and a funnel, for example, is that a website is kind of like the central hub. It's like a spoke in a wheel where everything kind of points to this website or everything can point out from the website. So think of like if you go to, I don't know, go to like, one of your favorite websites could be like Barnes and Noble or something like that. Going to Barnes and Noble, you're not landing on a specific product. They have an individual page that's called a landing page for their products, right? Same thing with you. You should have a central hub, like a website, that talks about who you are, what you offer, what your mission is. Your website should answer a lot of those questions, those 6 questions that I asked at the very beginning. The website should have a general idea of what that is, right? It should also have what we call a funnel. And a funnel is just a step-by-step process that all of us have experienced online. And it usually looks something like I land on a site because I want to buy the thing that I landed on. And then once I buy it, I usually get to some type of thank you page, right? Or maybe it's like a middle page that they're trying to upsell you on the thing. They're like, "Hey, you just bought the thing for $10. Do you want to buy the additional thing for 50?" Right? That's a funnel. It is meant to take you step by step by step. Whereas the website, there's no steps. You can go anywhere, everywhere from a website. So they're different. The simple machine has those pre-built. So all you have to do is customize them. And the linearization of the funnel is already pre-built. The website, all you have to do is customize and adjust what's in there. But the more important part of this is behind the scenes. It's the automation. The automation is all of the machinery of the machine. So automations are simply code that runs without you having to do anything besides initially setting it up. And those automations do everything from sending reminder emails of upcoming appointments to delivering the email that has your hypnosis audio or your lead magnet or whatnot in it. Automations could also do things like adding a tag to a person so you know where they came from, how they bought. Are they even a buyer or, are they just a lead? Automations also help keep you from like an organizational standpoint, they help keep you on track. So you can have an automation that shows you where people are at in your funnel, that shows you how many people have booked with you versus how many didn't, all that kind of stuff. Automations are the heart of all businesses. And Chris brilliantly put together this thing called the simple machine. It's essentially the foundational structure that every successful hypnotist, coach, therapist use in their business that turns strangers into buyers. So you want to make sure, like I said, that your simple machine, wherever you're building it, should have funnels with templated best practice copy suggestions for what to write on the pages. It should have workflows that are pre-built for success. It also should have emails that are pre-written and they're templated with best practices and copy suggestions like PS statements and that kind of stuff to help nurture your potential customers into eventually buying from you, turning leads or strangers into buyers, right? And it should have everything you need to get you set up and running, right? So even if you were to never join the mastermind, there should still be, no matter where you build this, a logical flow from I was a stranger to I'm now buying a product from you. And the journey should make sense, right? And what do I mean by making sense? How many of you guys have ever went and got your car, like an oil change on your car? And could you imagine just how interesting it would be if the mechanic was like, all right, well, we got the oil change done. Do you want to buy 2 oranges for $1? You're like, what? Right? It wouldn't make sense. And we see this all the time in our hypnosis industry where people go, all right, hey, I just listened to your hypnosis audio. And you go, all right, cool. Do you want to buy this other thing that's not related at all to the audio? There's a mismatch. This is why it's important to understand who your audience is. Answering those 6 questions will really help you to flesh that out. So I think I've said more than enough. I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Do I have any questions, any thoughts, any comments at all about what we've just discussed? Or anything else that might be on top of your mind? I would love to know where you're at in your business. How can I help? Yeah, go ahead, Jonathan.
I just had well, you're talking about the funnels. I built two funnels and they're kind of floating around out there, sort of separate. One was for discovery call. My website does it. The second funnel was a lead magnet. Should I actually put those two funnels together and tie them back into the website or do something like better with the two funnels? Or I guess I'm sort of confused with the funnels and how to use them or what to do with them, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely think having the funnel separate is good. And the reason why is because if you ever like you're doing Laurel's, stuff, you
Yeah.
want separate funnels if you're running ads. It wouldn't make
Mhm.
sense having everything under one funnel and then trying to run ads to that same funnel but for separate
Okay.
offers. So having the funnel separate, absolutely, that's best practices anyways. Um, Having everything tied together. The website absolutely should, in some way, shape, or form, point to the main landing pages of the funnels. It should. The way that we've done this, for any of you guys who ever use social media, should be almost all of us probably. Um, I'm sure all of you have experienced the link in bio on like Instagram, Facebook. It's that single link that when you click, it's like a little mini mobile website that just has buttons. Those buttons should be either to your resources, to your homepage, all the freebies, your lead magnet pages. That should be included in that. The exact same way that your homepage should have a button that says free resources if you have them. So people know that they can go somewhere and get stuff from you. I do think on the main web page too, Jonathan, and for everyone else, it's okay to also have, besides your primary call to action, which might be buy my thing or book a call, I think it's okay somewhere down, like right above the footer to have a final call to action, which could be sign up for my freebie. Some people put it in the middle of the page. I think that's fine too. But otherwise, for sure, you should have somewhere on your website, and if you're doing like a link in bio page, it should have a link to all of your lead magnet pages or your funnel, like your main landing pages in your funnels. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Joe.
Okay,
There you go.
there I am. Um,
Yeah.
I just, if there's anyone here that isn't in the mastermind group, I just wanted to give my input that um, Timothy and whoever else is Chris, they're
Yeah. Yeah.
they're like at the top and they don't have gatekeepers. So it's not like you have to go through people or anything like that to get to the top. And that is so refreshing to me. And and it's all gold that they give you. And so yeah, just know that and know that your money is extremely well spent if you join the mastermind. That's all.
Wow. I really appreciate that, Joe. Thank you. Your check is in the mail, by the way.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That is something that Chris and I wanted to ensure is that if anybody joined the mastermind, that we would be accessible. I think Laurel Portier actually says it herself, and it's like the modus operandi of how we kind of operate too, which is like content is there with the proliferation of AI and of the internet in general. There is enough marketing knowledge and free information out there. You should get it. So we don't ever charge for the content that we give. We charge for access to us. So in the mastermind, that's really what you're getting is you get all the tools and the processes and everything like that, but you also get us twice a week. Plus, you also have the casual co-working that we have with a facilitator named Ty. He's super cool. And so about 4 times a week, you get touch points with somebody in the Pykthos crew. And Chris and I are typically there 2 of those 4 times. But that to say, we do spend time with our people even outside of the call. So um, we just want to make it accessible for everybody, right? Like, We want to provide value. Like really, like that's why you even made these calls free and we don't really pitch on these calls at all. You just want to give value. Like we want to help people. That's the whole point of this thing. So yeah, thanks, Joe. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Yes, Jonathan.
I just figured I'd add on to Joe's stuff. For me, I struggled for probably a couple of years going down the wrong rabbit holes, wrong people, wrong everything. Had no clue. Finally found the Mike Mandel hypnosis, and then found you guys, Pykthos, and this is the first time I've actually been privy to, understood how to use the tools, AI, the platform, what God name is a CRM, what are ads, all the stuff that was a mystery, frustrating, and I just shut me down. And with the last couple of months, I have actually built website funnels. I'm playing with other stuff and actually learning, and I know what God's name to do, and I'm working on the automation now. And even in the Pykthos platform, the quest, the stuff that Chris has explained is wonderful. It's so precise, so easy to follow, things like that. So this is me, it's been a godsend. And it took me from just shut down, I give up, I quit, to, oh, I can do this. This is amazing, and I'm understanding it. So everybody just wanted to say thank you for that.
Uh, Thank you, Jonathan. Joe's check is in the mail to you now. So sorry, Joe. No, I'm just I'm just kidding. Oh, that's funny. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. And that's not the first time that we've heard something like that, Jonathan. Um, we've heard from so many people that making it simple, like everything, like when Chris and I on the Mike Mandel hypnosis side, we used to have all of these like a la carte things. You could buy this and that, and we had page after page of individual products. Then we had the Academy, which kind of included some, but not all. And you had to buy this thing to get this thing. And then one day Chris and I just like out of the blue were like, let's just simplify it. We're already really good at that. What if we just like simplified everything down to like just maybe one membership or two, and it just has everything, and we fold all the events and everything else kind of into it. And simplifying, man, has changed the game for us. And so we took that same mindset, and even with Pykthos, and it used to be a couple of years ago when we started the mastermind, it used to just be the platform, and that's all we would sell. And we would have group coaching and stuff. But essentially, it was kind of the same way that you felt, Jonathan. We had people who were like, I still don't know what I'm doing. So we would say, all right, here's some help articles and here's a couple videos, and like let's talk about conceptual things like the customer value journey, the thing that I talked about earlier. And we would still have people like that's, like I wish that I had the what to do in a simple version. So that was the genesis of the simple machine and also the quest that Chris made. We knew that we had to fix our onboarding. We had to fix the entry point for people that was as simple, like stupid simple, right? And Chris brilliantly had this idea of, have you ever, how many of you guys ever took like a programming thing in college or whatever, right? You know, the like, here's the steps, and then you get hello world that shows up, right? Well, he took that same idea, and that's where the quest came from. It was like, can we just get you guys, when you join the mastermind, to start putting Lego pieces together and see you get a result? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a complete finished product, but at least you know that if you click this button and that button and pull this lever, Hello World appears. Not literally, but figuratively, right? And so, yeah, Jonathan, I'm glad to hear that now that we've implemented these easy steps that you're getting the benefit from it. That makes me feel tinkle pink. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Yes, Liesel.
I also just wanted to say, apart from everything, which is amazing, but that sense of community, of knowing that you're all in it and everyone's rooting for your success. And it's just, and that it changes everything, because otherwise it would just be like, I'm here on my own and I'm just struggling on my own, and what do I know and whatever, and figure it out. And it's just, it just changes the way people show up for each other as well. And I think Timothy and Chris, you set the tone. You always set the tone of that. But it's just everybody kind of takes that on board, and there's like such amazing spirit and collaboration and things, and like helping each other and things in the community as well. And I think that's such a big part of being part of this. It's like a kind of a community that you want to be part of and you never ever want to leave. So
Oh,
thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being part of that community, Liesel. And I've made sure that Jonathan's check is now being delivered to you instead. I don't know how I'm doing that, but it's happening. So carrier pigeon
It's
or something.
it's all automated.
Yes. Yes. It's part of the automation. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. Thank you for that. Yeah, I do think though, like Chris and I, we could show up and we could hop on a call, but it's not the same. It absolutely is not the same without you guys. Like the community is the whole reason why that we even are doing the thing that we're doing. Um, because if we take it back to like first principles, when Chris and I first started Pykthos, we both agreed we hate working on our own. I don't know about you guys, but like the metaphor I often give is like sometimes I feel like I'm a troll in a cave and I'm just like tapping buttons and I'm clicking things. And then I get on a call with you guys and I feel like a person again, right? And I think sometimes as entrepreneurs we can get that way, right? Like we get so deep into the rabbit hole of build this thing and pull this lever and make sure that I twist this knob right and hopefully I get a result. And then we only have what, like maybe our family and our friends that we can talk with about what's working, what's not. But I don't know about you guys, but if you if you're anything like me and can't seem to stop talking about work and all the things that are happening, your family says, "Hey, shut up!" Like I'm sick of hearing that. But I'm like, "Oh, but I just built this whole thing," and they're like, "Okay, like sure." So the community is where we can have, those bridges being built, sharing wins, sharing our failures, but it's never failure, it's always feedback, right? We make sure that even if we're like, "Hey, this thing might not work," we deliver value and give you reasons why, and we usually have data to back it up and that kind of stuff. And it's always best practices, what's working now. It's never a, shotgun effect. We always make sure that even that's why Chris and I also invest our own money into other masterminds so we can learn from people much smarter than us. So I appreciate all the kudos about, dropping nuggets of gold and everything. But man, some of the stuff that we learn makes me feel stupid. Like I tell Chris often, I'm like, I walk in the room and I feel like an imposter. These guys are wicked smart, especially in the realm of business, automation, all the stuff that we bring to the mastermind. Some of these people are so smart. But I digress. So yeah, we again making it accessible. The simple machine, the quests, that's all part of the Pykthos Mastermind. You get it all, including us and access to us. But again, we're not trying to make this a pitch, but I really think like thank you guys so much for the nice words. Are there any questions at all about business marketing, anything like that that I maybe you have on the top of your mind and just needed answered? Is there any strategy that you guys want to know about or work through? Anything like that?
Good good morning. I have a
Yes.
question.
Yeah,
Uh,
Josh,
th-
go ahead.
Thank you for the great content. How do you get your
You're welcome.
emails to show up at the top of the Gmail list? I have and I use Klaviyo, and I think I'm getting sent to the promotions section. And this morning, your
Mhm.
email popped right up at the top of my Gmail. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts on how to make that happen.
Yeah, yeah. That's usually the issue with that. Oftentimes people will think it comes down to like body, email body content or subject lines and that kind of stuff. In all reality, what we've actually found, and this is also advice from there's this person, Kristen. I think it's email to inbox.com. Email the number two inbox.com is a company she runs. She's literally the number one email person in the world. Like people like Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi and like all these other people use her content to get their emails delivered properly. So really the way to end up in the top of people's email list is about communication in terms of replies and like the back and forth conversation you have with people. So Klaviyo, for example, I used to use Klaviyo a lot. They're really good when it comes to promoting your stuff, which is why you land in the promotions often because most people just use those type of email automation systems, Klaviyo, ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, that kind of stuff, to just do email blasts. And there's usually never a reciprocity involved. It's here's my free thing and they send it out to everybody, or here's my event and they send it out to everybody. You really want to do what's called email warm up, where the easiest way to do this is if you're starting up building your email list, bring all of your friends, family, anybody that you actually know that would email you back and forth, and put them into your CRM first and just send them emails as your business professional email. And do that over the course of several weeks. Like, hey, mom, like, this is my new business email. Can you hit reply? What you're doing is you're warming up the email sending services to recognize you as a legitimate email and not just somebody bulk spamming people. Um, the other secondary part of that is I would always make sure that your subject line doesn't reference things that would end up in the promotional area. So anything that's like sale, deal, buy my thing. If there's any sense of urgency in the emails, like last call, 5 spots left, right? That's going to land in the promotional side. Making sure that the subject lines and also the preview text are conversational and less clickbaity, right? So maybe the subject line is like, hey Jim, haven't heard from you in a while, and then the preview text is, hey man, I haven't heard from you in a little bit, just kind of reaching out to. So it sounds like it's conversational, like you personally wrote it. It wasn't automated, but it sounds like you personally wrote it to Jim or to whoever that contact is. That is absolutely the surefire way to get to people's inbox rather than ending up in promotion spam. We just have a couple of years now of really good email deliverability. So that means, you know, uh, for most of the email sending services, like I mentioned, Klaviyo, the Pykthos platform, ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, they all kind of run behind the scenes under the same email services. Usually, like it's like Mailgun or there's some other ones out there. They all kind of use the same ones. So to show that email server that you are a legitimate business and you also do correspondence back and forth with people, that gives them all the good feel signals to put your stuff in the inbox it should be going into. Hopefully that helped, Josh.
That that definitely helped, and thank you for a great explanation.
Yeah, of course. Um, Anything else at all from anybody? No, I definitely want to make sure that I'm delivering value and I'm answering any questions that you guys have. So then let me ask you, where are you at right now in your business? Like, what is maybe one question that if you had it answered, it would move you a little bit forward? Qasim, he often gives this statement of just kick the soccer ball down the field. Not every kick has to be a goal. It just has to move you a little bit downstream. So for you, where are you stuck right now in your business? That if you just had the answer, it would kick the proverbial ball down the field. Yeah, and you can unmute. Go ahead. Yes, Jonathan.
I'll go. Having more one-on-one conversation. I've got massage therapy clients. I'm transitioning out of that one, but I'm talking to them a lot more. I've gotten very bold with the hypnosis and actually use it in sessions now. What's a good way to, like I've had 2 conversations with a lady with problems. I mentioned hypnosis yesterday. I'm wondering like how is there a way to transition her, try to get her more interested in maybe having a discovery call with me, a Zoom call, or get her to see my website, or is there some way to kind of help her, I don't know, kind of get more interest a little bit faster, or is it just going to be more contacts, more conversations?
Yeah. So what's interesting is the we actually did deep research into this specific thing, Jonathan. And what we've actually found is there is a higher percent chance of you closing a discovery call if you do all of the things that would help the person to make the decision before they ever even get on the call. So having those more one-on-one conversations where you're just slowly inundating them with more information, not a giant canon of here's everything about hypnosis that you should know. Slow moving pieces are always good. Along with that, making sure that the copy on your website actually speaks to the person the same way that you're talking to them about what it is you're selling. So there's often this issue where people will talk about hypnosis and they go on the website and they can't find any of the same relevant information. So maybe you're talking with your massage therapy people about pain relief or pain management, right? And then they go to your website and it's hypnosis for, stopping smoking. And there's now this mismatch. Why would
Yeah.
they ever see you if they're coming to see you for something else, right? So you want to make sure that it's congruent no matter the conversation you're having. The second part of it is also just making sure that in those conversations, you're not trying to sell immediately. Now, it's a good thing that whoever it is that you're talking to is already buying something from you. So they already have the mindset that they can know, like, and trust you enough to give you money. Now it's just a different way. It's a different avenue. So what I guess the question that I have for you is, what are the conversations like? Because you had
Mm.
described like you're having these conversations with her, trying to get her interested in hypnosis. Like, how are those conversations like happening? What are they like?
Right. Yeah, the website, the stuff my actually niche is totally different. But the massage therapy, I've always specialized in the pain management. And what I did yesterday, we came out of a session. It's a potential frozen shoulder. Intuition kicked on, and I believe it's sort of very psychosomatic because I checked everything and there's no indication, blah blah blah. And I started talking to her, and I suggested a potential tool would be hypnosis, but I actually asked her a lot of questions about where she's at. She talked a lot about trauma, what she went through as a kid. I went, whoa, holy cow. I went, all right, I'm trained for all that, but then she is working with a therapist. So I
Mm.
mentioned hypnosis as a possible tool to maybe help her deal with that, but I said specifically we would need to then work with her therapist, get a letter of permission. I went that direction with it
Mhm.
as well and said, okay, just sort of planting the seed. Here you go. And, we'll keep talking and then see where it
Mm.
goes in future sessions. And that's kind of how I left it.
Okay. That's interesting, Jonathan. One of the things that I guess I would immediately ask then is, um, what is preventing you from offering the same type of thing for the psychosomatic experiences of your massage therapy people with hypnosis? Like why the deviation of offer and the type of people you help?
What I ended up doing, it was a whole long conversation I had with ChatGPT over months about my own transformation. And that's the direction we started taking. And it's not pain, it's not that kind of thing. But the other end of it, I've always gotten in and been in chronic and acute pain management. That's been the massage therapy work, myofascial release work. Um, I'm not sure if I just sort of felt like I was going in two different directions with it and couldn't make up my mind maybe. And that transformation that got me excited because it took me from who in God's name am I? And I'm operating on a certain way and I changed. Went from
Mm.
this to this now today as like, and that got me excited about operating in a whole new way as almost like a new person, getting much better results, interacting with the world, interacting with people much more
Mm.
easily. And that's probably what took me down that niche or rabbit hole. And yet here I am going, well, no, it's acute and chronic pain, but part of it is I want to get the heck out of massage therapy. I don't particularly enjoy it much anymore. I've been at it for
Mm.
14 years. I'm like, eh. And the industry itself drives me nuts and that kind of stuff. I have all these negatives about it. And I wrote them all down. I went, all right, dude, what do you want to do? So that's part of my dilemma, I guess, is like,
Mm.
do I really want to do? And yet, I don't know if I can do both or
Yeah.
interweave it. I really, that's where I'm at. I'm not really sure yet what to do
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. So I guess Jonathan, and then I see Lisa's got her hand up, so I'll turn it over to her because she might have some insight here too.
Okay.
When it comes to the transformation of yourself, there is
Yeah.
nothing stopping you from making a pivot and changing your niche if you want. And there's also nothing to say that just because you niche down to a certain demographic or a certain type of person that you typically help, that you also wouldn't get other people, because the specialist still gets other general, queries for things. Like I can't tell you
Yeah.
how often, like Kingutso, he would be considered one, like in the United States anyways, he's the number one stop smoking specialist. Dude charges a heck of a lot of money, and it's usually one session, and he's got like his whole thing is stop smoking, but he still has tons of people reaching out for anxiety, stress, weight loss, like you name it. And this guy's primary thing is making sure that you stop smoking. It's all over his website. So I guess for you, one thing that I would just recommend, Jonathan, is really sitting with where you want to be. Because if massage therapy in the last 14, 15 years has you feeling like this, then do you want another 14, 15 years of feeling like that with something else too? Right? So I would sit with that for a second.
Ah, you just
Yeah.
had a light bulb went on. So I'm like, I, Jesus, I don't think I want. I just when you said that, I thought pain management. No, a little voice went, no, I don't want to sit in massage therapy. And then it took me right into the transformational work. I'm like, that's been more exciting because of seeing where I am at. I'm like, oh, damn it, this stuff's good, and this can really
Yeah.
push people into some,
Yeah.
I call it a new world, a new way of being.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that really lights my fire, I
Yeah.
guess, really
Well,
gets me
so
rolling. But
now let's look at the juxtaposition of this, right? There's
yeah,
absolutely also nothing saying that the transformational, like trauma or whatever work you do with people, won't have the indirect psychosomatic effect that would help them with the pain stuff anyways. So you would really be hitting it from the other end. Massage therapy has been from the body to the unconscious mind. Now you're
yeah,
flipping the script and you're now going from the unconscious mind to the body. That's really the flip that you're doing here. And it's all the same if you think about it. Like, really, it is. You're just
yeah.
connecting the dots differently for people. And actually, that would be an amazing seller is as a massage therapist for the last 14, 15 years, I've helped people overcome pain that doctors said that they never could. I then found a way to do that even better, faster, simpler, and it doesn't hurt you at all when it comes to the physical side of it. Boom, you've now got an inroad in, and that would be your unique selling proposition.
Hmm.
Just a thought.
Okay, I'm taking some notes here. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wow.
Liesel,
Okay.
I know you got your hand up. Go ahead.
I just wanted to reply to Jonathan as well. First of all, I just wanted to say you have to be careful with Timothy because he is a master at covert hypnosis. So if you have a conversation with him, you are going to have to expect for you to blow your mind and to change your world. So just that goes with, the warnings. So
Appreciate
Timothy
that.
also, yeah, yeah. But so it happened to me this week. So I'm in one of Timothy's other things. So he runs a thing called Enter the Loop, which is conversational hypnosis, which is absolutely incredible. But I made a comment on the group this week that was just, it's like, it's incredible that the things you need to work on, your clients pitch up for the things that you need to do. And increasingly, as you connect, and it's amazing. Like I had like the things I need to work on. I have a client phoning me saying, "Oh, I need to then." I'm like, "Oh crap it. I really need to work on that." It's just like it's how I don't know
Hmm.
how to explain it. I don't know how that works. It just is how it works. We'll be sitting into the loop in a practice room, and I will be working with someone, and every single thing I'm saying to them is the things that I need to hear. I mean, what is that? Right? What is that? And then I also just wanted to sort of make a comment about pain, and pain is really, really interesting. So I've had two sort of major operations with no anesthetic, right? That kind of made some really headline news. And one of them was a tonsillectomy, and I didn't even have a local. And so just understand, yeah, if you Google my name, there's still lots of articles floating around. But understand that pain it's a message. That's all it is. It's only a message. You can choose to interpret it, you can choose to ignore it, you can choose to embrace it. And the more you actually are curious about it and follow it down and see where it leads and whatever, and realize that the pain and that the fear and the trepidation and all of the other things that go with it, it's quite possible to detach that. And that people can actually make huge differences in the way they perceive pain. They can take people into an MRI machine. I don't know if you've seen these videos, and they can prick them with needles, and then they can say, okay, change the way. You have the ability and the agency to change it. And they can then prick them with needles. And they're doing exactly the same thing. And they will then notice that they can drastically take down their pain level just by having the thought, by having not therapy, not hypnosis, not anything. They can do that on their own. And that's not knowing what you know or what you've learned in microdose hypnosis. It's not what knowing what you've learned in Enter the Loop or whatever. It is incredible, and it can be life-changing in the most incredible ways because, as you know, chronic pain wears people down. It's that kind of insidiousness that just underrides everything and wears them down. And you have the ability to make the most incredible change in people's lives with your knowledge and your background. So,
Thank you. That just gelled something else you said. I started connecting pain, unconsciousness, unprocessed emotions. From that, jumped into not doing transformational work. And with that, there's a lot of emotion, unprocessed emotion, and that could possibly lead to pain. So in my head, my little brain sort
Hmm.
of just shoved all that together and went, oh, this will kind of all gel and work together anyway. I believe
Yeah.
that's what you just helped me see. So thank you.
Yeah, Jonathan. Now the late great Stephen Blake, he passed away last year. He runs something called Old Pain to Go. His training was phenomenal. I had the great opportunity of being able to, be one of Stephen's students. And one of the things that he discusses when it comes to pain specifically, and it's to Liesel's point, and something that you've also talked about already, Jonathan, the idea of psychosomatic when it comes to pain, and here's the big it was a big light bulb moment for me. Uh, Pain takes the same signal, it uses the exact same nervous system path pain does
Yeah.
as it comes to emotion. So physical and emotional pain all travel around the same nervous system. It's just like Liesel said, just the way that you interpret it. And the big metaphor that he gave here to this was nobody ever itches a mosquito bite and thinks that they're clawing their arm off, you know? But you have somebody else walk up to you and scratch your arm. It's, like, oh, that hurt. But yet we can like dig into ourselves because we anticipate it. It's the anticipatory, it's that expectation. And these are all hypnotic phenomena. Anticipation, expectation, right? Like all of it is part of the unconscious mind. Now, what's really interesting too is Lisa was talking about like enter the loop
Yeah.
and like covert hypnosis and stuff. Mike Bowler is actually here with us, and Mike is like way levels above me. Like Mike is incredible. So if you guys haven't had a chance to look at Mike's stuff, MikeBowler.ca, check out his work. Mike's incredible. Which is why every time he's like on these calls, I get tickled pink. This is because he's here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully that helped you, Jonathan.
Yeah, just a tad. He said underplaying the whole thing. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Welcome. Good. Awesome.
I did dump into the chat somewhat sarcastically, but there's some truth to it here. That this is stuff that a hypnotist could help you work through, and there's a whole bunch of us on the call if you wanted to book time with any one of us.
Yep. Yeah. So reach out. Like, we're all either part of like Mike Mandel Hypnosis, Enter the Loop, or Pykthos, or anything. Like, we're all somehow in some way interconnected, right? So help each other. Like the same way
Yeah.
we're delivering value on this call is like reach out, help each other out. Nothing preventing that from happening. Awesome. So we got a couple more minutes here. I want to make sure that if there's any other pressing questions, thoughts, comments, considerations, anything at all. Would love to make sure that I'm giving you guys, the time that we have here. And if not, I can also give you guys your time back. And so if there's anything at all pressing, you can either put it in the chat or you can just unmute yourself and let's have a discussion. Otherwise, I'm going to release all of you guys early to the world, whatever that means. All right. Well, yes, Brenda, go ahead. I saw you unmute yourself. Go ahead. Or not. Going once. Going twice. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Really, sincerely, thank you for being here. And if you're watching this replay on YouTube or any place else, thank you so much for watching the replay. Hopefully, we provided tons of value. And if you have any other questions, thoughts, comments, or anything like that, you can always leave a comment. Send us an email, team, T-E-A-M, @pykthos.com. If you want to sign up for this and actually attend these live so you can be in the room, get your answers, if you have questions and would love an answer and you want to be here and ask it live, you can go to pykthos.com, pykthos.com/cafe, CAFE. And if you want part of the mastermind or you're even just a little curious about what we have going on, check us out, pykthos.com/mastermind. Let's unmute ourselves and we'll end this in our usual way. And you at home that are watching this replay can also unmute yourself and join us by saying, thanks once again and good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.